Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Silly Point. And I'm excited about this one. Of course, I'm joined by Dan Allen on the other side of the line. Hello, Dan.
Hello, T. How are you, mate?
I'm glorious, wonderful. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. You're looking magnificent there at the sawmill, which
It is as lovely as ever.
And it is. I have been up there a couple of times, and it is looking absolutely magnificent. The best I think it's looked at the start of the season for, well, many a year.
So it is exciting, very exciting. And I am excited for the season to start and to keep recording these silly points. As I said, I'm excited about this one. And I don't think we should hang around, Dan. We could talk all day, which is what we're about to do, but we should do it with some sort of order. And I think we should start with a little bit of news.
The biggest thing that we've had going the last few weeks is our crowdfunder. And rather than bang on as we have done before about the things that you can rewards you can get for donating, we're not doing that today. What we're going to do is to say that we have met our target and we have now raised enough funds to build magnificent new nets, which there's a lot of sort of planning and ordering and all that kind of stuff going on, but we hope to have them ready for the start of the season. But we are also just going for a little bit of a stretch target, and we want to get a new electronic scoreboard because regular viewers will know that our current electronic scoreboard, which is about 25 years old, is bust. So we're going for the scoreboard. Thank you so much for everyone that has donated. The generosity has been fantastic. The warmth of the comments and people from all over the world, from West Virginia, Australia, New Zealand, Bangladesh, South Africa. I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic. We're enormously grateful, and hopefully these nets will help us to play even better. I don't know, T, what do you think?
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also looking forward to hopefully documenting the nets going in as well.
That's true, yeah.
Could be really cool to watch, and of course looking forward to training on a surface that doesn't offer up anything that it shouldn't. So
yeah, no, it's very, very important, and it's going to be great for our nearly 200, I think, juniors at Sanderstead. They will benefit enormously from this, and again, thank you for your generosity. But there is one last bit of the crowdfunder that we want to give a little last push on, and it's our Fantasy Cricket League. We've run Fantasy Cricket League at Sanderstead for the last 3 or 4 years. We didn't last year, obviously, the shortened season, but we're bringing it back. But this time we're opening it up to, well, anyone really. I think we've got about, 35, 40 teams in there at the moment. But we want to get more, and it's open to everybody. It's very simple to do. I've been busy creating a little form guide. So anyone that does sign up on the crowdfunder, and there's a link below, anyone that signs up will then be sent a link to get this form guide, a link to sign up, or a link to get your team input into the Fantasy Cricket League. It's a proper one that's run properly. And then away we go. So it's a great chance to select your own Sanderstead team, where you can have, the legends of Sanderstead like Cy Carter and Johnny Longcock playing alongside some of the lesser known players or players in the lower teams, like the Cornish Coley. Wouldn't that be great? To have the Cornish Coley and Johnny Longcock in the same side. I couldn't think of anything better.
Well put, Dan. Well put. And it's £10, isn't it?
It's £10 entry. That's all, and there will be some prizes. The more people that enter, the bigger the prizes. So I don't know what they'll be, but we'll try and
cuddle from Longcock himself.
Well, yeah, I think we've
got to after the COVID era, of course.
After the COVID era, but we've got to get a couple of hundred teams entered before Longcock will give out cuddles. But yeah, I'm sure they're worth it. Have you had a Longcock cuddle?
Many a Longcock cuddles.
Excellent. So they are worth it.
Oh, definitely. £10 suddenly looks like peanuts.
So that's the news, really. Apart from this, there's just one other point, which is that we've got a special guest coming up who I think is going to be one of the best price players in the fantasy league, and he's going to be vying for one of 3 or 4 vying for the sort of leading all-rounder spot. Because, and this is a big bit of breaking news, our absolute star legend of the last few years at Sanderstead, George Jackson, is off to go and play some Prem cricket in the Kent Premier League with Bromley. And he goes with our blessing. We wish him all the best. He's a brilliant cricketer, and I think he'll do an amazing job there. And we wish him all the best. And when he's had his fun on that, then he can come back here again. It's quite right. George is a pro sportsman, and good luck to George at Bromley.
Absolutely.
But the player that we've got to have a special interview with now, coming up, T, do you want to introduce him?
Josh Stacy, new to the club last year, and a wonderful cricketer and a wonderful guy.
Absolutely. So we're going to be having a few words with Josh. So, let's get him in, shall we?
Josh, hello.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you.
That's cool. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
We've got lots to talk about, so we'll dive straight in. You're relatively new to Sanderstead Cricket Club, aren't you? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I joined last year during the COVID, sort of the shortened season. I am working for a company that do club nights, so I wasn't going to get an opportunity to play cricket if it wasn't for COVID. And then, thankfully, in a way, the silver lining was that I got to play cricket for Sanderstead for the half the season last year, and absolutely loved it. It was great. Amazing.
Certainly a silver lining for us as well. And what would you say your main kind of role is thus far at Sanderstead? As a cricketer and off the pitch, obviously, you're bringing some strong haircuts, but on the pitch.
As a cricketer at this point, I would say I was a tweaker, a part-time bowler, lower order batsman, and ex-gun fielder. That's how I describe myself.
Could I just butt in there, Josh? Because what did you describe yourself as? A part-time tweaker? I mean, I think I meant to look at the averages, but I think you topped the league, didn't you? And you got 14 wickets at an average of 8 or something.
It went better than I was expecting. I will say that, to be fair. I'm sort of worried because I think the expectation might be that I'll carry that through to next season. So if I turn up and it's not going as well, then you guys might be disappointed. But we'll see. Well,
I think because I was like you in terms of the first 11 off spinner for a few years in the late 80s and through the 90s.
Without the hair though, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't have the hair. Still don't. I love bowling at Sanderstead. I found the short boundaries were fantastic because it encourages people to go for shots, and a miss hit is out basically, whereas big grounds are missing. So what I'm interested, what as a bowler, and you're not a part-time tweaker, you're much better than that. What do you think of the ground and the track and everything?
I would say a similar thing to what you say. I mean, obviously having short boundaries, and also because it was so hot during the summer, the outfield was so rapid that people are more inclined to sort of get after you, and it tends to be, as anyone who will have watched any of the videos last year, it tends to be the bad balls that I get wickets with. So the other thing is the slope, the slope from the bottom end. I had to get used to bowling up that, because the first time I bowled at that, I was dragging everything short. You really have to throw it up there. But the wicket is really good. As a batsman, I absolutely loved it. I only played, I think, 2 games there, and both times the wicket was fantastic. So it's a good place to play. It's very similar to the ground that I used to play on. The straight boundaries are very short, but that outfield, the square boundaries were massive in comparison. So it's a bit different in that sense.
And where was that?
It's called Feckenham Cricket Club up in Worcester.
Okay.
Near Redditch, just about 20 minutes outside of Birmingham.
Yeah. I can't remember if you did any proper bowling, serious bowling down the hill.
I didn't actually. I bowled in the friendly at there was an inter-club. I actually bowled at Tyler and John Coles, and that went all right. I think I bowled like 5 overs for about 5 or something. Didn't take any wickets, but I didn't take any wickets for like my first 3 games or something for the club actually.
I always had to bowl up the hill because I had a Chris Acerman, who I don't know if you know, 6'5" leggy.
I know the guy,
yeah, who was brilliant, and he was probably the sort of premier bowler and sort of match-winning, sort of number 8 batsman. And but he always had the pick of ends, and I had to take whatever was left, and so I was always bowling up the hill. But I switched to down the hill and actually persuaded him to go up the hill for quite a while, and I found it so much better. I got so many more wickets bowling down the hill. So you might want to have a think about that.
I think I probably in the 2 games that I played, I think I probably would prefer to bowl down the hill. To be fair, but the time that I bowled in the first team game, I was opening the bowl in again with Jacko, so I don't think there was much choice in whether I wanted that end or not.
Well, and of course you won't have that problem this season because Jacko is off to Bromley. So in fact, I'm not sure if we've got any downhill bowlers this season.
Well, it depends if Tom comes.
Once again, you said Ace dropped some leggies down from the top end.
Yeah,
I'm ready to fill that void, Dan.
Opening with 2 spinners with the new ball, I think that would be an interesting tactic.
Of course.
I've only got one thing to say to that, and why not?
And why not? Josh, you've thankfully for us stayed for another season, which means that we must have done something right. Apart from the fact that you took wickets and you scored some runs in a shortened season. What do you like so much about Sanderstead? If you like it, you might not.
I do like it. I sort of played. I netted with a few different clubs with Tom Colson, the left armour. So we played together in Feckenham, and we were just looking for something that replicated that sort of social aspect. And we turned up for the first net after the first lockdown, which was probably about March time. And I remember thinking how good the standard of the net was. There was at least 20 odd players who would all be able to sort of push for a first team spot. So having that competitive edge is obviously always good for the cricket. But aside from that, it's just a really relaxed atmosphere. There is an onus on winning, but at the same time, like it's more about just enjoying the cricket because it is recreational. We are amateurs, and as much as anything, I just want to enjoy it, and I really like playing with everybody. So there's no question in my mind I was going to come and play with Sanderstead again.
Oh, that's good. And this season, hopefully, we have a full season. What are your ambitions for this season?
Hopefully try and replicate some of the bowling. That's what the main thing. And also, I didn't bat as well as I'm capable of last year either in the few games that I played. So definitely want to get a big one in sort of in the first month or 2, and then hopefully kick on, score a lot of runs. Because that's really what I do, to be honest with you. I'm more of a batsman than I'm a bowler, but happy to do both.
Yeah, brilliant. And Josh, what would you say were your sort of best moments last year, and preferably ones that I captured on film, because I put little clips of whatever it is.
Yeah, okay. I really enjoyed the Oxford game. It was a great win. Especially with a bit of the drama about Sai taking the catch and it ended up being a no ball, and then it looked like maybe it was flipping away. Like that game just went back and forth the whole time. So winning that game was really great. I don't think you were there to film it, but I did really enjoy the interclub game. It's the first time I've ever played a proper interclub game when you're playing against everybody, and that was really enjoyable. And again, it was the last game of the season, but I think you were.
I wasn't there either. I filmed the twos.
Recording the twos, yeah, you're recording the twos against Sutton. That was a really good game. I liked watching Lockie get the Scottish international out because he thought a lot of himself. Let's put it that way when it came to the wicket. But honestly, every game was great. Dorking was a really good game as well.
Was that the way you got the spot?
It was a shame. Yeah. It was a shame really because we were in such similar positions, losing 5 wickets really, really cheaply, and then ended up coming quite close in the end. If we'd have just managed to draw out our wickets, maybe with a few extra overs in between, you never know what might have happened. We could have got closer to the win, but.
Yeah, no, I think so. And I thought the Epsom game was a good game. Very disappointing.
That was a hot day.
It was a hot day, and And yeah, I think you came in and you started to hit it, and then you got out, didn't you? And I think that's where the game went. So
Yeah,
I'm blaming you for that one.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take that. I'll tweak my hamstring because I was so unfit and I was coming back for that second, and then my leg went, and after that I was pretty much shot, to be honest with you. I had nothing left to give.
Brilliant.
Right. Last podcast we spoke about some of the kind of lockdown uncovered talents that we found within our club. So we had Jallan making his bar, we had Greg doing his painting, Chris Bowman with his Brojangles music. If you haven't watched that podcast, then go and watch it. Dan's going to throw a link somewhere, aren't you, Dan?
I will. Absolutely.
Very good. But Josh, we've discovered something else, and I'm going to hand over to Dan. He's going to talk to you a little bit about your hidden talent, shall we say?
Yeah, well, I'll ask you really. I mean, you've started a blog, and I think I got hold of it this week, and I read a couple of the blogs, and I'll tell you what, you write well, man. It's really good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Really good, and it's sort of proper cricket writing. Tell us about it. Why? You know, what made you start, and where did you get your writing talent?
My writing talent. I don't know. I've always had a bit of a natural thing with sort of stringing a sentence together. I write much better than I speak. I'll say that for sure. But I'm from Birmingham, so that's natural.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
I spent the majority of this lockdown during winter, I'll be honest with you, I was either watching the India games, I was either watching that or Married at First Sight Australia, which is amazing. I don't know if you've seen it. It's just ridiculously good. And I sort of started writing a few pieces mainly because I was getting frustrated with England. And then I thought, if I'm writing these anyway, then I might as well translate it and put it into a blog and see how it is. So I spent, probably a week or so setting this blog up and then put it out there, and I've had some good responses actually, which is really nice. A lot of people have said that they thought it was good, and my long-term ambition is to sort of get into writing, whether that be sports journalism or if it's just publishing or something like that. I've always sort of had that ambition. So hopefully.
Excellent. You could start with us. You could do the sort of Saturday match reports if you want.
I would happily do that. 100%.
Brilliant.
I can do that for you.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Viewers out there, honestly, get hold of this. There'll be links down below. I'm starting to sort of push it out on social media. What's it called? The Diary of a Cricket Widow.
That's the one, because I am cricket widow through and through. Absolutely, it's the only thing that I know anything about. That's why I write about it mainly.
A badger for another time.
Badger. An absolute badger, or a nuffy if you're watching in Australia. It's the same thing.
I don't know.
So when Dan earlier said that he was going to look at your stats, do you know your stats from last season?
I don't know them specifically. I know that I took 14 wickets at about 8, and I scored about 120 odd runs for the first team. Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know them really well, but I could tell you my stats in for Feckenham pretty good, I would have thought.
We've got. I'll just do a quick story here. We've got a bloke plays in our Sunday 11. I don't know if you know him or not. Ian Lemon. Lemon is an absolute badger and is a counter. And he came up to me a couple of seasons ago, and he said, "Oh, Dan, you know when I played that shot behind backward square for 4?" And I went, "Yeah." I said,
yeah.
That was my 12,000th run in for Sanderstead something, or in cricket. He counts it as he goes, the cumulative total. Amazing. That is serious badger.
But also, that's
I'm not
even using the internet or play cricket or whatever. He counts every ball and every run.
Yeah.
And
really, that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
That's quite impressive. I did used to count my score when I was batting when I was younger. It was a good way of concentrating, but I used to end up getting in arguments with our scorer quite a lot because he was useless and he used to miss out boundaries that I'd hit.
So on the, I read a few of your pieces, but the last one you did about the sort of England's tough tour of India. This is called Silly Point, and me and Tyler always vowed that we wouldn't talk about proper cricket. But here we go. Let's do it. What would you do? Oh, you kind of touched on the sort of things that you would do if you were in charge, but just give us a little taste of what you think England should do.
it's hard, you know. You look at India's record at home under Kohli, especially, but in the last sort of decade or so, they've only lost a handful of tests, let alone series. You know, if England to go there, I think it was in 2012, and turn them over at home was ridiculous when you consider. I think the main thing that I touched on was about the rotation policy. I don't necessarily disagree with. I think that it works during this period where, you know, bubble fatigue is definitely a thing, and I do sort of sympathise with that. I would say that, you know, and I say it in the blog, I can't believe I'm saying it, but where was Keaton Jennings? You know, he's only played some subcontinent tours, and then he played against India, and he got made to look a fool in England. But he can clearly play the spinning ball very well. And you know, I don't understand why we're picking players, i.e. Dom Sibley and Crawley, who, yes, they're good batsmen, and I would definitely have them in English conditions. But you watch the way that they played Dinia in the Sri Lanka series, and they just prod in and just playing down the line and just hoping for the best. And like, you can't play that way in the subcontinent. You need to be proactive. And then you're looking at players like Pope, who were trying to be proactive, and he looked even more at sea than when he was trying to defend. You know, it's really difficult because there's such alien conditions. But I just think it needs to get to a point where they start to pick their team based upon what is really going to best suit the conditions. You know, you're not going to go into a test in Sri Lanka with four seamers, are you? You will pick Adil Rashid, even though he's a white ball bowler, which they have done in the past, just because that's where they're going. So, you know, it's difficult to criticize because, you know, we're not there and we don't understand why they make the decisions they make. But if it was me, those are the sort of things I'd be looking to do. Oh, and also I'd be picking a better spinner because Don Best is appalling.
Well, I was just gonna go on to the spin. I mean, the thing is, it's always been almost impossible to beat India at their own strength at the spin bowling side. And you know, how do we develop better spin bowlers in this country?
I would say that last season wasn't so much, obviously, because they had the Bob Willis Trophy, which was played, a lot of that was during the summer, but traditionally the County Championship has always been played in the first two and the last 2 months of the season around that time. And then obviously they play a lot of the white ball when the wickets are a lot harder. So, you know, when it's early and late season, the wickets are a lot greener, they're more conducive to seam. And it's the same story for quick bowling and spin bowling. Why would you want to be a quick bowler, an out-and-out quick bowler, or a spin bowler when you're hardly really getting a look in on wickets that aren't really conducive to what you want them to be?
Yeah.
So I would suggest that they staggered the white ball competition more, played more red ball cricket during the summer when the pitches are harder and drier. And then maybe we'll have our own sort of trio of Hazelwood, Stark and Cummins, and then we'll have, you know, a line will come through. But at the moment, you know, the best spinners that are in the county championship are like people like Simon Harmer, who've grown up playing cricket in South Africa, which is more conducive to spin than it is in England. So, you know, I think that they need to take that into consideration if they need to really think about what they want to do with the England side and the sort of players that they want to produce, and they need to look at the county setup for that.
Well, and which brings me on to the next sort of subject, really, which is, well, I'm not sure if the ECB are going to do that because they seem so fixated on you know, on the 100 and adding a new revenue stream, ostensibly in the name of trying to get more people interested in grassroots cricket. Personally, I don't think the 100 will do anything for grassroots cricket. It'll bring money in.
I agree.
What are your thoughts on the 100?
I agree. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't describe it as accessible. It's not the sort of thing that you can translate and take to grassroots cricket. I can't imagine people starting out their own 100 leagues. You know, I don't think that it's going to be replicated. And also, with 2020 cricket, it already reached a point, I feel, where it couldn't go any further. It couldn't be any shorter of a game. It couldn't be condensed anymore. It couldn't. The 100 seems like a novelty, and the novelty, I think, will wear off probably after 2 or 3 seasons. And, you know, it'll probably continue because they'll look foolish if they don't continue it. So, you know, it remains to be seen. I could be wrong. It could be great, but I can't see it. I would actually put more, I would change the T20 blast into a franchise. That seems the obvious thing to me.
I completely agree. Having the two alongside each other, I don't get it. They'll cannibalise each other. Yeah.
And you're looking at like Australia and the IPL, the Big Bash in the IPL. IPL is the best T20 league in the world without a doubt, and probably the Big Bash is second, and then you've got like the Pakistan Super League and stuff. And they're so much better competitions than the T20s. You know, look, who wants to watch like Derbyshire play Leicestershire in a T20? You know, they're just, the standard just isn't there.
Yeah.
If you turn them into franchises, and then you could attract more of the big players, and you have 4 or 5 overseas in one team, then that would change everything. That would bring the revenue in.
And so where's the writing going? Where are you going with it?
I'm looking at a few different job opportunities, just sort of playing the field at the moment. I'm still planning to go back to my job that I work in at the moment. But I think that I need to sort of diversify the things that I write about a little bit on the blog and sort of change it up a little bit. I'm going to start writing a few anecdotes as well from, you know, playing amateur cricket, because obviously, as you guys will know, they're infinite and they're always really funny. So hopefully that translates to paper.
Yeah. Do you have any other sporting interests, Josh, that you'd write about? You said you wanted to go into sports journalism.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into pretty much all sports. I used to play rugby when I was a kid. I'm not as into that anymore. But you know, I watch a lot of football, like tennis. You know, love a bit of golf as well. I'm absolutely terrible at golf, though. It's really frustrating. It's the most
Excellent.
frustrating.
We'll have to have a round.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
Brilliant.
I don't have a handicap. Last time I did a full 18, I shot like 40 over or something, just because I always lose 2 balls off the tee, because I just like hit like a 3-wood off the deck because it was enjoyable, whereas I should not do that.
Love it. Yeah, we'll get up to Farley and play around up there.
I'm definitely keen for that. Maybe you take a few videos and show people just how bad I actually am at it as well.
Great idea. Yeah. Josh, another quick question for you, mate. We've got the Sanderstead Fantasy Cricket League running this year, and we're trying to get as many people, you know, from the viewers and the fans to join us as possible. I think you've signed up, or if you haven't, then you have.
I have, yeah.
Through the Crowdfunder link below. Let's just say that again. Who have you got your eye on to have in your team?
Do you want me to pick a full 11 now?
No, just you know, just a few. The ones that will be your first names on the sheet.
Okay. Well, Tyler first, of course, is first name on the team sheet. Has to be. You've got to look at the all rounders. You know, I'd see Greg McLean, maybe somebody like that, or you know, depending on where Yogi's going to play. If Yogi's in the 2s, then he's definitely getting in my team, because he's going to absolutely tear it up like he did last season. Yeah. I'll say my mate Tom Colson. You know, he didn't see the best of him last year, but I tell you, he's a serious bowler, and you know, I know that it isn't bowler friendly, but if anyone's going to take enough wickets to make it worthwhile, I predict Tom Colson.
Brilliant.
So we'll see. Hopefully I'll come top. We'll see.
Yeah. So you'll have yourself in the team, will you?
Oh, do you have? No, not necessarily. Do I have to have myself in the team?
No.
Okay, okay.
So,
okay, right. No.
Josh,
I hope I come top of the league.
Just saying, I've never put myself in my own team.
Just because then you well, actually, if you're looking for people to blame for not winning the fantasy league, then you can at least blame yourself if you've got yourself in. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it depends. I'll leave myself out for the first few games to see how I start, and then maybe put myself in later on.
Very good. Depends on the pricing, you see. You know.
Yes.
So you might not be able to afford yourself.
No, I doubt that.
Brilliant.
If I just become a bowler by the end of the year, then I'll be cheaper, won't I? Because you don't get as many points for bowling, do you?
Bowlers who can bat can chalk up the runs.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, maybe
Johnny,
I'll put myself in then.
Johnny could get a few points this season, I think.
That's a good shout. I think Johnny Longcock's definitely going in mine then, if he gets himself at the batting order as well, which I think he probably will.
Yeah. I think my dark horse, and you might not know Lance Harris, the Cornish Coley, Matt Harris's dad, but Lance is a quality cricketer. He's old now. He's older than me, a lot older than me, and he's going to captain the 4th 11, playing on a plastic pitch.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he can sort of bowl some twirly stuff as well. So yeah,
okay.
he could.
I think he would be my first pick.
Really?
Yeah, him and Stu Ellery.
Okay, well, we need to have a conversation about this when we see each other, and you can give me all the tips of who I should be picking in that case.
Well, I'm writing a form guide, so everyone will get that form guide, so they can make us
like the racing post, Josh. We'll go through it and highlight it. highlight what we fancy. And
Yeah.
right, Josh. To finish off.
Yeah.
Well, certainly your kind of interview, I guess, if you want to call it that. Not that I think of it as an interview at all. I thought I would throw a tease threes at you. Sorry, it's a while since I've done a tease threes. Are you familiar with the tease threes?
I'm not. Go on, tell me.
Okay, a tease threes works like this. Very, very simple. 3 quick fire questions.
Okay, all right.
All you have to do is answer them. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, question 1. What would you be called if you weren't Josh?
Isaac. I would actually be called Isaac. That was going to be my other name, genuinely.
There you go. Factual answer.
And it's my middle name, so.
That works. You use a GM, if I'm not wrong. If Gunn and Moore had to choose 2 different letters, what would they choose?
JS, surely.
JS, like it.
I knew that you were going to say that. And finally, how many months have 28 days?
Just one? I think all of them.
I think you'll find all of them here.
Yeah, thank God I've got that. Jeez.
Yeah, well done.
Josh, it's been wonderful having a true Badger, top guy.
Yeah,
good
to be
on. Thank you so much for coming on.
And Josh,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. Best of luck with the writing. I'll do whatever I can to help out with that. Delighted that you're playing for us again this season. I hope you find a job that doesn't entail you having to be in a nightclub on a Saturday night.
For sure.
And that we get a full season out of you, because it's going to be an amazing season this season. It's going to be great.
I'm looking forward to it. A lot. It's going to be great.
Brilliant. Thank you.
We have just heard from Josh who he might have in his fantasy team, which moves us on to our next segment called Ask the Player, where we ask a range of Sanderstead Cricket Club characters different questions. And today we've asked who they would have in their Sanderstead Cricket Club fantasy team.
Normally I would say pick me, but unfortunately this year not going to be around as much, so you got to go for the next best thing, which is Chris Beaumont.
I'm picking my fantasy team right now in my bar, so I'll have a drink to think about it and then I'll get back to you. It's got to be Skaz. He's not around, so bats because you're beautiful. It's you.
One person I will always put on my fantasy team is Stuart Ellery, because if he's not getting runs, then he's getting wickets.
What's up, guys? Who would I pick for my fantasy team? It would have to be Del Boy. Why would I pick anybody else?
Johnny Locke scores runs, takes wickets, catches well close to the wicket and in the deep.
Hi guys, my selection for fantasy cricket to look out for would be Josh Stacy. He bats, he bowls, takes catches, and my spin twin, so obviously you got to go for him. Cheers.
Greg here. My pick for the batting is Yogi, and for the bowling, Matt Harris. Let's go.
You must have a codger in your team, and for me, got to be Chris Aisleman. He's just retired from his job, so he's entered the second stage of codgerism, which means he'll have much more time to get unfit and be out of shape. Can't bowl anymore, can't quite get his arm over high enough. He won't catch much unless it hits him in the hands, but if he can stand up for half an hour, he'll slap everything over cow corner, regardless of line or length, and he'll get you runs.
Hello viewers. Fantasy cricket's all about value. Your star players like Jacko and Josh Stacy and Cy Carter and Tyler, they're all going to do well. But my pick is a little lower down, 4th 11 captain this year, Lance Harris, the Cornish Coley.
Yeah, it's really good. We've only got it this week, and it's powerful, and it's cordless. Brilliant. Oh, hello. My fantasy team for 2021. Right. Tyler, obviously, opening the batting, classy right-hander. Reminds me of myself 40 years ago. John Coles, the BBC reporter at 2, opening as well. Yogi at 3, obviously the run machine. You always got to have an overseas. So Chris Bowman, the Aussie, you're in, buddy. I'm 5 because I'm captain and I can be. Sandeep, all-rounder slot, bat and bowl, buddy. Ryan, you're wicket keeping. Stu Ellery at 8, sorry mate, late runs needed. Aisleman, late sweep shots and pitches over the boundary required at 9. Greg McLean, 10, and Matthew the Village Vittori, 11. That's my team.
Yeah, some good thoughts there from the lads. It's going to be great though, having fantasy. We've missed a couple of years with it, but it was a brilliant thing to do when we did it. Everyone got involved. It was such good fun. Viewers out there, I really recommend you have a crack at it. It's only a tenner. It'll keep you involved throughout the whole season. You can pick your own Sanderstead team, and who wouldn't want to do that? And links below to how you sign up and everything. There's a form guide being created, and it'll all just work. T, I thought it was brilliant having a more extended interview with one of our players, and Josh was, I thought, fantastic, and I love his blog, and I recommend everybody find it out, have a look at it, sign up, whatever you need to do, follow him. Links are all below for how you can do that. But yeah, I thought that was really good. So T, what do you think?
I agree with you, Dan. I think so many people have stories off the field and are great characters. So being able to talk to them and find out a lot more about them is super interesting. So I think we should do more of it. I hope you've enjoyed. Hopefully we're going to do more and more now the season is slowly getting up and running. So keep your eyes peeled, and there will of course be match content, whether it's from the archive or brand new matches, hopefully at some point.
Won't that be good?
Would be good. So goodbye from us. Peace out from me.
Goodbye.
Oh yes, that's gone for 4. Dell's going to be livid. Let's look at Dell. Oh, a double teapot. A double teapot from Dell. That's magnificent.
I don't care, I just want to get home.